Stop the tax and inflation power curve. In this episode, we are going to address the question, why or how do most people run out of money in retirement? Why do retirees run out of money? I want you to learn this so that you don't run out of money, and you've got to stop what I call the tax and inflation power curve. So I've been a financial strategist, retirement planning specialist for more than 45 years. And I learned this concept very early in my career, and I was like blown away that a lot of financial advisors never do learn this. And that's why they get caught in the trap of just giving the same old financial advice. Just participate in the company's 401k and put it in the market. When the market crashes, it always comes back, and you'll probably be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. So defer, and everybody's doing it. Well, I was sort of a contrarian. I said, wait a minute, you're not taking into consideration what we call the tax and inflation power curve. And this is what causes people, retirees especially, to outlive their money. So let's talk about this curve. If I was drawing this, this would be a curve where your dollars, your net spendable income is dramatically reduced as we go down the road in life because of two big things that erode away that money or that purchasing power: taxes and inflation. Now, there's actually a third one that people deal with in retirement, and that's market volatility. But in this episode, let's talk about taxes first. When people retire, so many times I would have them come in, because at retirement planning is something totally different than maybe what you did for retirement planning. And I would always tell my clients, okay, they weren't clients before, this is the first meeting. I'd say, bring your after-tax, IRA, 401k, 457, whatever, bring your after-tax statements. Then we go, after-tax statements? I knew they didn't have them. And so I would say, I'll have to calculate it for you. So they came in, and let's say they had $1 million in this account, and they're just thumping themselves on the chest, and look, we have $1 million in this. I'm going, what about your partner? They go, what partner? Well, the government. Okay, Uncle Sam's been your partner. That's not all your money. What do you mean? That's my money. I said, no, only about 2/3 of that. See, that $1 million isn't your money. You agreed to postpone tax, procrastinate until you retired, thinking you were going to be in a lower tax bracket. That $1 million isn't all your money. Only about maybe $650,000 to $700,000 of that is your money in your tax bracket. If you were earning 10%, which most were not, that means if you pull out $100,000, you pay tax of $30,000. You're only netting $70,000 to buy gas and groceries. People go, well, I need $100,000 because of the inflation power curve, because the purchasing power of the dollar went down. They thought $1 million was going to be a big deal, and now $1 million only buys what $500,000 did several years earlier. So let's throw in the impact of inflation and why people have to pull out more and more to have the net spendable income they need to have the same gas, groceries, haircuts, golf green fees they could have had 15 years earlier when the dollar was worth more. First of all, we had the problem of tax. When people said, well, I need a net of $100,000 to buy gas and groceries because of inflation, how much more do I need to withdraw out of my IRA or 401k that I'll net $100,000 after paying the tax? And I go, well, you're in a 33% tax bracket. That means you have to pull out 50% more. And well, what? No, do the math. You have to pull out $150,000, pay tax of 1/3, 50, to net 100. In a 33% bracket, you have to pull out 50% more to have the same net spendable income. Well, what if I can't afford to take out 150? Yeah, you're only earning 10%. And you're having to pull out 15% to net 10 because inflation took its toll on the purchasing power of those dollars. Because down the road, inflation at 5% will double the cost of living about every 14.4 years, every 15 years. But a lot of people, for expenses like healthcare, prescriptions and so forth, the costs go up double digit. So let's say in retirement, inflation on all of the things that you're needing money for, not just food or gas or whatever, but usually your medical and all of the prescriptions and medication that you need, usually those have been going up more in double-digit inflation. At 10% inflation, the cost of living will double every 7.2 years. So that means at age 67, you're going to need twice as much money. In 15 years, you're going to need 4 times as much because it keeps doubling. So let's say 100,000 used to cut it. In 7 years, you're going to need to withdraw 200,000 to buy the same gallons of gas and loaves of bread that 100,000 bought earlier. Even if you tighten your belt and you live on 50,000 out of IRAs or 401ks, in 7 to 10 years, you're going to need 100,000 to buy the same goods and services you used to buy for 50,000, you need 100. And it doesn't just go up another 50, it doubles again in 7.2 years. So 15 years into retirement, you are having to withdraw 4 times what you did 15 years earlier to have the same lifestyle. This is called the inflation power curve. When you combine the effect of tax and inflation in that power curve, this is the reason why people outlive their money, because they have to keep taking out more and more money after tax and to make up for inflation to have the same essential needs or things that they want in retirement. And most people's retirement nest eggs cannot continue to do that. So what do people do? They're forced to cut their lifestyle, the golden years of their life. Or they're forced when they run out of money to rely on Social Security, charity, welfare, your children for support. Is that what you spent your entire lifetime to do? Well, let me tell you what you have to do to avoid this. So what you need to do is eliminate the dangers of taxes and inflation. And while we're at it, let's eliminate the danger of market volatility. This is what I've been helping people do for 45 years, and I get all kinds of thank you notes because there's 2 simple strategies here. In order to eliminate the dangers of taxes requiring that you have to give up 1/3 of everything, and taxes will be going up in the future. Most people see that because of irresponsible government spending, the printing of money, and economic stimulus programs and trillions of dollars. Where's that money going to come from? They have to tax. And so the General Accountability Office and the Congressional Budget Office says taxes will likely have to go up to 50, 60, or 70%, especially if popular ideas like free college or Medicare for all gets passed. Heaven forbid. They're estimating those are going to cost 90 to 100 trillion. Do you know the IRS only brings in income between 3 and 4 trillion a year? And yet they want to shell out 100 trillion to do that? Where's the money going to come from? Higher taxes. So the best way to make yourself immune is to convert your retirement income, your retirement strategies to tax-free income. And I'm not talking about a Roth. A Roth is a step in the right direction. What I use, I've termed the laser fund. The laser is an acronym that stands for Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. The laser fund is what many savvy CPAs and tax attorneys refer to as the rich man's Roth. And I snicker because you don't have to be rich to have one, but see, the rich can't own a Roth. They make too much money. So there's tons of advantages that the laser fund has over a Roth. But it allows me to have tax-free income. If I have $1 million, it generates 80 to 100,000 a year of tax-free income. I'm immune from taxes going up to whatever level. Also, I link my returns and my laser fund to the things that inflate. I don't like inflation any more than you do, but it doesn't hurt me. It helps me. See, if inflation is at 5, I usually earn at least 10. I've always earned at least 5.5% greater than the inflation rate at the time because I link my returns to the things that inflate. If inflation goes to 10, I earn 15. If it goes to 20, I earn 25. And it's very predictable. Most financial advisors don't know how to link your returns on your serious money, especially in retirement, to the things that inflate. So inflation doesn't hurt me, but you cannot be rowing upstream at the rate of 1, 2, 3 miles an hour and have the current of inflation coming down at 10. If the current of inflation is coming down at 10, you better be going 10, 15 miles an hour to beat that inflation. You can learn to do that, and I've written about it in all of my books. My most recent book is called The Laser Fund. Click on this episode and you'll have the opportunity to receive a copy of the book absolutely free. I pay for the book, you pay $5.95 shipping and handling, and you can learn the value of this and also how to protect yourself from market volatility. But the first key is let's get rid of the danger of the tax and inflation power curve.